Hi there. My name is Dr. Latoya Smart, and I'm a licensed clinical psychologist in the state of Arizona, United States. I was born and raised in Jamaica, and I left Jamaica to come to the US to pursue my graduate studies in clinical psychology. I am a charter member of the Jamaica Alumnae Chapter of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated, and I volunteered to submit this video session to teach you more about depression, what it is, signs, symptoms, what may have caused it, and how you can cope. So first of all, what is depression? Major depressive disorder is the diagnostic categorization, but what are the signs and symptoms? We're looking at low motivation, low mood, low energy, just that lack of drive to get up and go, to get out of your house. Sometimes you might find yourself curled up in bed for days. You don't find pleasure in the things that you typically would find pleasure in. So your favorite movie or your favorite game or your favorite hobby or pastime just don't hold that excitement anymore for you. You feel hopeless, you feel helpless, you don't think your future is going to change. You think the world is a horrible place, you think you're a horrible person and you're a failure and you're worthless and you're never going to get better, and you just don't have any belief in other people, any trust or belief or hope in other people. You really don't think the world is a good place or a place to look forward to being in or living in. And typically we might see in persons these symptoms evident for about 2 weeks, but some persons have reported even longer episodes of depression. And if you suffer from persistent depressive disorder, then you might always be suffering some low-lying symptoms or mild symptoms of depression and never return to a period of normal mood. So if you find that you're experiencing these symptoms, or a loved one, it could be that there's something in your life or there are a series of events in your life that have caused you sadness and distress. There could be grieving of a lost one by death. It could be that you are facing quite a lot of hardships in your life and you feel that you have reached your limit at coping. In children, they may be very sad, but they could also be very irritable. Research has shown that children who are extremely irritable and who engage in or display temper tantrums typically end up being depressed adults. So a series of behaviors reflecting mood instability, irritability, throwing tantrums, the moods are swinging from happy to sad to angry. That could also be a sign of depression in children. So what do we do when we notice these signs and symptoms in ourselves and others? First of all, we want to know what causes it. We call it psychoeducation, which means we're being educated about the psychological basis of our behaviors and the biological pieces. Why is it that some of us have depression or suffer from depression and some don't? It's a biological or a genetic vulnerability, which means that there might be an imbalance in the hormones, your neurotransmitters in your brain, or there could be a particular gene that you were born with that makes you more likely to be depressed. Once we know this, sometimes we can change our diet and our lifestyle, or we can seek out a psychiatrist to get antidepressants to help to balance those levels. But even with the medication, it's very important to add the coping skills because you don't want to be completely dependent on medication. You want to find some strength and independence within yourself to cope with these symptoms. So a few of the symptoms include opposite action or opposite to emotion action, or like behavioral activation. We're acting opposite to the emotion. The emotion is telling us stay in bed, be miserable, don't do anything, but we know it's not good for us. So we catch ourselves in the situation, we push ourselves to get out of bed. It's similar to behavioral activation. You are pushing yourself to engage in activities, meeting friends, participating in your hobbies, going for a walk, going for a run. Don't spend all day in bed, because behaviors can send information back to our emotions and our thoughts, or they can influence our thoughts. So in acting as if we're happy and we're busy and we have friends and we're socializing, it makes us feel better. Just as much as thoughts and emotions impact behaviors, behaviors can impact our thoughts and emotions. And of course, I already went through some of the thoughts and emotions that are associated with depression. The beliefs about ourselves and about the world, and the feeling of just endless sadness. So pushing ourselves to be active and to be busy, that can send that message back to the brain that we're doing okay and we might feel a little bit better. Maybe not a lot, but every little bit counts. Another important thing is to make sure to be socially involved or interacting with friends and other persons, looking for a social support system. You need persons to help to lift your spirits, and interacting with others is a really important piece when it comes to that. Another thing could be to add positive emotions or increase our positive emotions by engaging in fun activities, hobbies, and interests on a daily basis. Make a plan to do at least one pleasant or enjoyable thing each day, and something that's very simple and achievable. You don't want it to be anything that's going to involve a lot of time and planning and money, because all of us have a list of these wonderful things that we want to do, but we don't have the time or the money, and then it just doesn't get done, or it takes years to get done. But our mental health is more important than waiting years. So you want to get something done every single day, even if it means 15 minutes of deep breathing, or a little bit of self-care, lotion in your body, taking a bath, lighting some scented candles, treating yourself to your favorite meal or drink, or watching a movie. Try to find something to do, even if it's exercise, walking, going out, getting some sunshine, looking at the stars. Little things like that can really lift our spirits if we're depressed. Of course, if we're severely depressed and we're considering suicide, that is a time to reach out to a loved one, call the police, or go to a hospital or a mental health hospital, so that you can be stabilized, so that we can get you back to being yourself and to motivate you to do the things that you need to do to have a happy, healthy life worth living. So we always have to keep suicidality in mind. So if you have ever heard of someone stating that they have a plan to end their lives, that is when you want to report it to the necessary authorities. Now, some persons may have passive thoughts of suicide that may not necessarily require a report. You may have thoughts such as, oh, I wonder if I weren't here anymore, or maybe it would be better if I weren't around anymore. That's not necessarily a need, or that doesn't result in the need to report it to the authorities. However, this is someone who could benefit from just talking to a supportive friend, but most importantly, working with a counselor. At the end of the day, when it comes to coping with quite a lot of mental health concerns, we always want to find that objective third party, a counselor who can listen to us and guide us in what we want. There's no ulterior motives. Our parents or teachers or bosses and co-workers, everybody wants you to do what they want to do. But counselors help you to figure out what you want to do with your life, what will make you happy, and why that's justified. So I don't want to keep this session or run this session for too long, so I'm going to leave things there for now. So until the next time, take care of yourself.